is a HO Caboose that I'm doing for a friend in Texas. I've just got the glue on a little figure there with his working lantern. I soldered up a 402 lead and just painted the back of, bottom of it a bit black. I just turn that on and off. You can see the light. And the motor, let's just press F4, got it on pink at the moment. That's how I'm just doing my motor there. I just got a nylon crank wheel, some 17th hour nickel silver wire that makes up the crank, a Pico track spike as the crank pin. I just pack up the bit of circuit board there with the bit of tube guiding it, and that's glued on. You see what that's doing there now. I've got that one working, and that's the circuit that I'm using there. I've programmed this pink wire to a value of 44. This is a TCS FL4 decoder in there. I love these, they're so reliable. I put a capacitor with it there in line, and this is just my testing. I just use this for testing purposes, just having some leads there, and that I'm blowing the green at the moment, so I can't turn that on or off. It's going to be on all the time. But this is one that I was using some years ago, but it's still got 3 light functions there, so I'll be able to get the figure animated with his waving arm, so his arm will wave off that. So I've got his arm working through there that can lift up and down to wave the lantern. I won't move it at the moment because it's just got some glue drying, and putting back in there for the moment. I've drilled a hole through the caboose just there. There's 2 holes there. I had to make an adjustment, so it's the bottom hole that I'm going to use there, and that goes inside. And because his legs are at a bit of an angle and the steps here are at a bit of an angle, so he'll be standing on the step, but that's it. The important part of all of this is that's a 47 ohm resistor, and because there's a motor involved in this and a light function, I've had to put a diode in there to stop any feedback from the motor generating to go back and blow the FET transistor, which happened on the green function. Unfortunately, I mucking around and I forgot about that. And the little voltage regulator, that's an LM317LZ, just nice and small, and they've been so reliable. I've been using these for over 10 years now, and I've never had a failure in any of the animations with these. The motors, they're a 6-pole 6mm planetary geared motor. You can get those in all different sizes. They're all 1/4 of an inch or 6mm in diameter, and I use a bit of evergreen styrene tube to cradle those in, and then use styrene, different shapes to do the mounting of it there. And I've got that mounted on a bit of double-sided foam tape there, black foam tape, and that's how I'm doing animations on cabooses and that. I've got to put the lights to the back of the caboose. I'll put a couple of red lights either side there, use some fibre optics coming from the lead inside, put some lighting inside the caboose, and then we've got the guy waving his lantern on or off. So that'll be another one. So that's just how I do things. A lot of fun. I enjoyed these animations. For the pickups, I'm just using some thin copper printed circuit board. I've roughed up the area there with a Dremel to key the surfaces, and then I've super glued the each soldered pad on there, so I'll just go and put some phosphor-bronze wiper wire rubbing against the back of the wheels, and that'll do the track pickup. Made a couple of little styrene squares with a 1mm hole in them there, just countersunk, and I've drilled 2 holes in the caboose there, so I've got the fibre optic just going to come out, and they'll mount right up on this on the end here, so we'll have 2 red tail lights on the caboose. Okay, so I'm doing a red 0603 lead. On there, and just put in the tweezers that I've modified, and just connect them up. Is that one on? We'll do the red next. Okay, so transferring this over now, so I've got one piece on there. Put this around the other way. I'm going to put the other one on now. Might not be long enough. We'll see. I've got to use liquid flux, non-acidic. Just bend this a bit. Oh, I've got to tin it first, haven't I? And that's tinned. And that's on there. Whoop. So that's on there now. I'll get the lead tester. And use all my fingers. I'll put this on here. And we should have a red lead. There we go, I've got a red lead. So that's going to be for the fibre optics coming out the back of the caboose. Okay, the next thing I do, I bend the lead 90 degrees to the wires. I put a bit of heat shrink at the back, and I get a larger heat shrink and I put over it. In there, get that over it, so that I've got about, I've got to put the fibre optic is going to go in there, so I shrink this, so I've got leaving enough room for the fibre optic, and I've also put a piece of heat shrink over the fibre optic. I'll show you that in a second. That's inside the caboose at the moment. So I'm just tapering this down like that, and on the other end I've got the little guy with an 0402 lead that was soldered up there. Now I'm going to take this on or off. There's his lead working there. I've got his arm moving. I've got the motor ready to go inside to drive him. So it's all starting to come together. Not an easy project, but at the end will be a lot of fun. Okay, so I've got the TCS FL4 connected. I've put a capacitor with it there to be a keep alive, and we've got the little fella on the end there. We can get him waving his arm, and he's got the light on there as well, and getting that to work. So you can see I've got a wire coming through from his arm, and that's just being worked off the motor crank going up and down. I've got another little extension piece there because I've had to build that bracket there with a bit of brass tube there as a guide. The whole thing with all of this is you've got to cut back on the friction as much as possible, otherwise that little tiny motor's going to struggle to turn over. So we've got that. We've got the lights on the far end. They're working there now, so we can turn the light on or off. That's on F3. That's on. We can stop him and start him up again. So a bit of fun. So that's how I'm doing it. A bit more progress. Okay, so we're all back together again, and there he is there. We can turn his light on or off. Turn the light back on, and we stop him moving. Turn the light off. Start him moving again. Turn the light on. Now he's got his lantern working there pretty well, and that's going to be reliable. So, another project done. So there's the pair of them there, talking to each other. Okay, so we'll get them going. Just for showing in the video purposes, you can see getting animations on board makes a lot of fun. So we can turn him off, turn off the light, stop his arm moving, get his light back on again, start waving his lantern again. And on the back I've still got the lights on the back. They're working as well. Little red lights. You've got a 2.7k resistor in there, just so they're not super bright and look out of place. Oh, wait a minute, I'm trying to do everything here. Throttles. Reverse him up. Turn his light off, stop his arm, light back on. So, all a bit of fun.